What is going on, everyone, and welcome to Around the Metaverse, our weekly show. We bring together some of the best content creators from the Web3 community, talk about all the recent news, and give you guys everything you need to know to stay up to date. My name is Adam. I'll be your host today, and it might look a little bit different because my computer is melting down. None of my audio devices are working, and we're on the phone today. So bear with us with a little different setup on my end.
You're fired.
But we've got a great show. I mean, this came out. This never happens to me. This literally never happens to me. Like, this is of all of the myths around the metaverses. This is the first time it's been an audio issue on my part, like since the beginning.
Usually it's me.
Well, no, I mean usually it's like one of us with something else going on. But no, we've got a great show for you guys out there today. Want to say, and yeah, I'm gonna be looking this way to look at chat, so bear with me. But we've got Gen X in chat. We've got Jaxie in chat. We've got a couple other people coming in right now, and we've got a great group of guests for y'all today. Some new faces and some returning faces. First up on this fine Monday, we've got CryptoStache in the house. How's it going today, CryptoStache?
It's going good. Feeling fine. Monday. The holiday's over. I have successfully gotten all the tryptophan out of my system. Turkey's done. We toasted it. I'm ready to get back into action before the next holiday, which is I think next week. So I don't know what we're gonna do.
You got Stash had the itis and he got over it already. It's the itis has come and gone. He ate a good bunch of turkey or whatever your holiday meal was. But no, I mean, yeah, productivity in the U.S. right now, not great. Holiday coming up next week. I'm sure everyone's excited, but we've got a lot.
The problem is, I love holidays. I'll celebrate every damn holiday you can throw at me. I don't care what it is. I don't even have, even if I'm not that religion or that. I'll celebrate them all. I love them. I love.
Well, yeah, I mean, you guys watching might not know this, but Secret Agent Stash is actually leads a double life in the GIA. He's actually a family man outside of his completely. I don't know anything about the GIA. He lives a completely double life. So don't let that slip out. I might have just exposed you, but no, we've got a lot to talk about on this fine Monday, and we've got a great group of guests coming with us today. First up, we've got a returning face. We've got King Apollo, half of What in the Metaverse podcast, the K and TPK, and the Steve Harvey of content. Apollo, man, happy to have you back on the show. How's it going tonight?
It's going good, man. Going good, man. Loving life. Glad to be back. I appreciate you guys, man. It's always a pleasure being here, and I'm ready to hear what we got to say tonight because we got a bunch of nice guests on here, man. So I'm really excited.
Oh yeah, baby. Oh yeah. I mean, we're saving the best for last in this case. The best in terms of the hype. The real hype is coming after at the end here as our new guest. But next up, another returning face for the show here. We got our friend No ACLs. No ACLs, man. Happy to have you back on the show. How are you doing this fine Monday?
Let's go around the metaverse, man. I'm good vibes. It's a good Monday out here. It's snowing. Winter has begun, and I'm ready to talk gaming. Let's get it. Let's go.
Yeah, it's 77 degrees in Miami right now, and people are wearing jackets. You know, it's like it's getting real cold out here.
Lucky out there.
No.
77.
Yeah, well, and then I mean, shout out to Maddox who isn't here right now, but he was like out of power all day with like the snowstorm up in the Northeast, man. It's like I come from the Northeast, and I'm glad to not be in that mess right now. But last but certainly not least, our new guest on Around the Metaverse for his first appearance, bringing the hype as he always does. We don't have a soundboard, so we're not doing you justice with the intro music, Doug. But we've got Doug Hype, founder, producer, and host of Hype the Show and Hype TV. Doug, happy to have you on the show, man. It's been we haven't had you on long enough. That's not the right way to say it, but happy to have you on. How's it going, man?
Man, I'm so thankful to be here. You know, I know you guys have been trolling me. You're always like, Doug, we're going to have you on the show, and then you don't. It's all been leading up to right now. The energy's electric. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is the place to be in the metaverse. I'm here to pay homage to the OG Stash, and we got Nokels, and we got the King in the house, man. Like, these are some of my favorite people in Web3. I'm not just saying that because I'm hyped. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you look at my Twitter feed, I'm literally commenting on these guys' tweets all day, every day, because these people are the real deal, and I love you guys. It's good to be here.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, baby. We're happy to have you, man. And again, my apologies. That's on me. Not like you should have been on the show far earlier than today, and
5
I
years
failed.
ago.
Yeah,
It's okay.
I know you're coming for my job, Doug. I know you're coming for my job here on Around the Metaverse. You don't need to. You don't need to. You don't need to. You know, you can just say it already. But we've got a great show for you guys watching out there. Oh, we've got our friend Kobe in the chat. Kobe, man, thank you for joining us. And then we've got a great show for you guys. We're going to be talking about some new partnerships here with AAA studios, maybe getting serious, it might look like, about Web3 games. We're going to be talking about the newest trend in Web3 gaming. We all said it was, it's all about gameplay, guys. It's all about gameplay, but that was just a psyop. That was bear market vibes. Now people are making money, and it's all about tokens, right? We said it was all about games, but now that we're making money, it's all about tokens. But first up, let's take a look at the newest big partnership here in Web3. We're taking a look at Ubisoft and Immutable coming together for a partnership that was kind of vague, but following on the legs of a pretty major announcement in Ubisoft's newest Web3 venture, where they're going to be coming out with Championsverse, which is their new Web3 game that has been making the rounds in the Twitterverse. I want to get your guys, and actually even more recently, they've just announced a partnership with Mochaverse, which is Animoca's big community IP that I think is going to be something that we're going to be continuing to talk about in here too. But I want to ask you guys if you think that the IMX and Ubisoft partnership might have something to do with the Championsverse launch that is pending soon, and see what your thoughts are on that. No Seals, let me start with you first, man. I mean, do you think this partnership between IMX and Ubisoft is significant, particularly on the legs of Championsverse being announced?
Yeah, honestly, I think it's cool. It's really comes down to like what people think as far as like the regular market, right? Like the traditional gamers at the end of it. We're all here for it. Like I'm gonna love it. Champions Tactics, right? That's the name of the game they're starting with. But I know they're like talking about building like a whole ecosystem at some point, right? I think it's cool that they're integrating with Immutable. Like we've seen Ubisoft come in and do a few collabs over the last year. Like they did an Assassin's Creed drop early on, and that was like a collectible thing. So like they've been cooking it up in Web3, and I think it's a big deal, but for like the long run. Like right now, like it's not going to matter to the traditional player base. Nobody really cares, but they're here building because they know that there's value here. They know that eventually there's going to be traction. This is going to blow up, and they want to be here, right? They want to be involved. So I think working with Immutable, like there's some games in that ecosystem that might even have some possible collabs in the future with this Champions Tactics game, right? Because they have Guild of Guardians, right? So maybe we could see some interoperability. You never know. Like it's a long way away, but I think it's definitely a big deal overall, and we're here for it first, right? So we'll see where it goes as they build it out.
Absolutely, and yet you bring up a great point too. Ubisoft has been in the game for a minute now, and like probably, I mean, there will be a ton of people that maybe don't know this now and will continue to do so as new people come in. But like the first, I mean, I don't know if this was the first like Web3 thing they did, but they launched this program called Quartz with Ghost Recon, I believe it was, and like literally it was received terribly. It went over awfully.
So
They ended
bad.
up walking the entire thing back and like apologizing to their players for like, as many of the traditional AAA studios tried and failed with Web3 things.
And that was dumb.
The big.
That was dumb, man. I can't believe they did that. They were a bunch of punk ass bitches for that, man. They got pressured. They tried something different and new that was absolutely free. It didn't give anybody any kind of advantage in game. You weren't required to do it.
That's why.
You had to grind for something if you want it for free. It like literally didn't do it. I mean, that's like everything else in every other freaking game you got to grind for. I mean, come on, what's the
Call
difference
of Duty,
there?
the skins.
They came at
Yeah,
it
are
the
you
right
kidding
way.
me? Like
they had the right intentions, but the player base just isn't here for NFTs, right?
Yeah,
So
they
it's
got
gonna take
punked out of
time
it, dude.
for that to turn around. Yeah, exactly. Like,
Yeah.
but we're here for it. Like I said, we're here for it.
Let's go.
Stash, let me ask you then, like, why, like, even though that Quartz was received so, like, why did Ubisoft continue down this path? Like, why are they still coming out with Champions Tactics and the Championsverse even after like several failed attempts at this point of like trying to figure out something that will work. I mean, what do you think they think that it will be different this time that will make it, not go over the same way?
Look. They didn't fail. That's the thing. Like, we look at it like, oh, it was a fail. They failed. Oh, that was a horrible experiment. Look, nobody wanted. Dude, once again, that comes down to being a little early, and you're going to have these things happen to you. Was it a failure? I mean, you could call it a failure, but really, I think it's more of a successful test to understand exactly what you can do and what limits you have at a certain period in time. And they tested that, and they saw that there was a lot of pushback. But it was pushback for no actual valid reason other than like NFT bad. NFTs are ruining the environment. How would you do this to us, Ubisoft? Why? Like that kind of shit. Like stuff that just really doesn't even, it's like narratives that somehow got into the conversation but are not actually backed by any factual evidence. It happens all the time, and definitely happens within the Web3 gaming scene. You know what I'm saying?
It happened with the
environmental FUD. The environmental FUD will make its round again here soon. At some point.
It will, but that's what I'm saying. So when you look at this, like, was it a failure? Like, no, they've been testing things for like longer than any AAA company out there. When you talk about a AAA gaming company, Ubisoft has been doing this shit forever. Like, they've literally been doing this for longer than most people have been in the industry.
Since Ubisoft I was a kid.
I mean, I mean, doing games, but I just mean in Web3. They've literally they were doing NFTs, back in the day with Rabbids on like through other platforms like that too, with like engines and stuff like that. So they've been doing it. Sandbox, they've been doing stuff with NFTs for a long time with their IP. And they realized that, hey, in the sweatier game like Ghost Recon, it's a lot harder to pull off. But in the more casual games like Rabbids, we can do this and use that IP, and people aren't like jumping down our throats because they don't have the same type of fans for that game. So has it been unsuccessful? No, I don't think so. I think that you're going to have some some attempts that maybe don't work in the short term, but overall they understand that this is going to be the future, that there is something here. Maybe we haven't hit the exact perfect thing of like, this is the thing that's perfect about it, but it's coming, and they know that, and they can see it. That is why they continue down this path. Not just Ubisoft, but we're talking about Sony, we're talking about Square Enix, we're talking about Microsoft. I mean, literally every major player out there, even if they haven't announced it, is working on this shit in some way, shape, or form. But yet, we still have haters out there saying, no, it's a scam, it's never gonna work, you're stupid, take NFTs out of gaming. Good freaking luck, it's never gonna happen. That is the future, and it's coming, and all these companies know it.
Well, the big difference that I see here with Champions Tactics and Ubisoft is like, with everything previously, it's been like something that was originally geared towards Web 2 that they like tried to sneak Web 3 into in some way, or test like Web 3 out in some way. Where in this case, it's like, all right, at least the way I see it, this is, I mean, they're hitting the ground and doing all of the Web 3 marketing tactics of like, Twitter exposure. We're building out a Discord. Everyone has to like, comment, and retweet to get invited to our exclusive Discord to build the hype and things like that. And so, like, I'm curious if this game is going to be a hit in Web 3, and that's what's going to like propel it to a point where other people who enjoy Ubisoft games are like, hey, maybe I'll check this out too. Apollo, man, let me get your opinion on this. Like, do you think that do you think that maybe they're taking what they've learned from, let's not say failures, but previous tests with Web3 stuff, like Quartz and the Assassin's Creed, they were like little NFT like moments you could get from Ezio's life, I think. Do you think that they're going to learn from that, and this is like, all right, guys, we've learned enough now. Like, let's pull the trigger on this thing and really make a splash in Web3.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like for sure they learn from that, and I agree with Stash on like they should have just stuck to their guns originally, right? The thing is, like, educating their fan base on it would have been the best thing for it, right? It would have helped out more instead of just backing out. I feel like they've tested a lot of things over time. They understand like what works and what doesn't work from even the Web 2 stuff. So moving forward, I feel like they'll definitely take those. Well, if you want to call them failures, like I wouldn't even say they're failures like Stash said, right? Like, it's just learning lessons. I just feel like it probably would have been much better if they just stuck to their guns.
I feel that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to
Well, yeah,
jump in and
agreed.
agree with King real quick because like you're gonna be then known as the hero later on, right? Like I just imagine when like we're playing Assassin's Creed and we're dropping down and we're getting an NFT out of the this haystack. You know what I'm saying? Like I see the vision of a lot of the games that they have. There's so much metaversey, high tech stuff going on with there. Like I feel like that's gonna be the crossover when we just start seeing the AAA games integrating NFTs and somehow making it part of the lore that just fits in and people just don't even like think twice about it.
Well, yeah. I mean, do you think that, Doug? Let me ask you this: like, if Ubisoft comes out with this and it's a massive success, like, how do you think that affects the other like the other people in other AAA studios in the space? Like, does it become game theory at that point where it's like, all right, if these guys are successful with this and this is the new mode, like of the best way to engage a community, the best way to give players a better experience where they have ownership over some of the assets that they're playing within game, and more unique ways to monetize their time while they're playing, like, what do you think? Activision and Microsoft follow suit. Do you think Sony, like, pulls the trigger on what I'm sure they've been building in the background for the last however many years? Like, how do you see the other studios reacting to success with Champions Verse?
I think they're salivating right now. You saw what happened with Baldur's Gate where they're like, hey, let's have less microtransactions. And all those studios are like, shut up. Don't let the person talk. We like that stuff. And they're thinking to themselves, like, how can we utilize the blockchain and NFTs so that we can continue to make an income, but have people be more happy with the results, right? Owning your assets, whatever it is. So like maybe you can have the best of both worlds where like, the studio has to give in a little bit because we own assets and we can like, make some income off of whatever. But what we also then like what we're doing, right? We're not running away from the microtransactions, hopefully, and we're actually having a fun time gaming. That I'm thinking there's like some kind of compromise in the future that happens because the big gaming studios, as you see, they'll do anything. They'll pay off the press, whatever it takes to try to get their money.
Well, yeah, the big issue, like with microtransactions, for example, too, is like it doesn't need to be demonized in the way that it is. The current state of microtransactions, I think, deserves to be demonized in the way that it is, but it doesn't have to be that way. Because imagine a world where just by spending time playing the game, you get like some kind of value out of it in the form of a token or a currency or an NFT, whatever it is, that lets you, instead of taking from, in many cases, like your parents' credit card, well, not us, but our own credit cards, but like you spend, some parents are getting like $3,000 bills from Candy Crush or Roblox or something like that, right? Maybe instead of like it coming out of the mom and dad's credit card, it can come out of the fund that like you've been building with the little bit of value you've been getting from playing the game, for what I mean. And then microtransactions are fine because it's part of a healthy
You just
economy.
solve gaming. The kids, they can tell their kids, make your own damn money, bro.
I mean, that's already kind of how it works anyways, right? I mean, like you have games, they're mobile games, and there's typically two currencies in the game. Just like we see in crypto, right? One currency is the in-game currency that you're using, like coins or whatever, for like your in-game bullshit. And then you have the premium currency. That model is never going away. And you say, oh, it can't be different?
Yeah,
no. Do you know why it can't be different? Because that model
is economic.
It's based on human psychology. That's why it works. That's why we're saying, oh man, can it be considered predatory? In some cases, possibly. It's you know what I'm saying. It's like packaging a gambling product in a lot of ways, under the guise of it being an educational entertainment product only, and then you get people hooked thinking they're not gambling because it's like, oh, they're like, no, I'm not smoking, bro, I'm vaping. It's the same. That's how it's the same thing,
bro.
No,
it's water vapor.
No, guys. No, guys. It's not a premium
changes
currency.
Could be made,
it's a token.
guys. Changes could be made. Come on.
Well, I mean, no. What it comes down to is
we
that
can innovate it.
Well, look. Can it be innovated on? I mean, there could be different systems and other things that can replace it, but that thing is in place because of that very same fact. Because it relies on human psychology and understanding how that kind of works. They scienced the shit out of this over the last decade, man, with the rise of mobile games, and found that the pathways that are triggering the dopamine hits in your brain to get you to want to keep spending money on that premium currency.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, if you guys haven't seen Monopoly Go, I have not paid a single cent yet for it, but that game is the dope of, like, it
That's
is
classic.
cooked up in the lab, 100% cooked up in the Canadian Devil's Lab for all of you South Park fans out there. Shout out to Jaxie and Gen X in chat. They're no ACLs, man. They said you look like a superhero in hiding.
Yes.
And you are a superhero. The owned Merc banner behind you, dude, is dope. That's a fire background you got going right now.
Right? Let's go. Bring in
the
the
big
vibes.
merc.
I have some theories
Well, no,
though,
but
like about this whole, in-game currency discussion, right?
it is for
Where-
them.
So whenever you're ready to like dive into this token talks a little bit, and if it should be in gaming, if we should be using real funds and all that good stuff, I think we could make some changes. And there's one game that I have so much pain and hurt and like dollars spent on over the last decade plus, and it's called FIFA. And a lot of people, it's not called FIFA anymore, but a lot of people play these sports fantasy games, right? So I'm going to use this as my base example because it's brought me the most pain, but there's tons of games that we can like change the model and, build it out a little differently, that you give value to the players and make it more rewarding, right? Like you guys said, at the end of a season or, the end of the game's life, when they bring out a new game, there could be some transferable value or rewards that you earn that are tied to these in-game currencies, like the coins, like the FIFA points. So that's your premium currency, right? We buy these FIFA points, and then you want to rip open packs or whatever it is, get cards, sell them on the market, get coins. That's your in-game currency. That's the sports, fantasy model, right? And then you play the game based on how people are playing. You get in the market, you buy and sell players high and low depending on peak performance, blah blah blah, right? We get into the strategics of it all, and you can really make that in-game currency if you are smart about it and you know the game. So in doing that, I think that if at some point games like FIFA and companies like EA and Ubisoft and all these other game companies that have been really extracting the crap out of gamers for like the last 2 decades decided, hey, maybe we should start integrating blockchain, and maybe like it would be a good idea to still be able to uphold these systems we love and get value out of, like the token, like the premium currency and all that stuff, right? You buy your V-Bucks, you buy your FC coins, but this could be on chain, right? And then there could be a percentage where like they're generating revenue. Players can use a peer-to-peer marketplace and exchange that at whatever value they please, and maybe cap it right at a max value, something like that, so you don't really destroy the market that way, just the way they moderated it with their custodial market for FIFA, right? They've done that with the coins. Whenever trading and things like that got out of hand, they always found ways to mediate it because it's centralized. But all this stuff can be programmed and structured in a way that players can actually trade these things freely with one another, gain some value out of it, and the developers and the game creators can still get some money out of it as well, and just make it more rewarding for everyone, right? So that's my take on it. I would love it if EAFC evolved. I'm tired of, like, I don't spend money on it at all anymore. I retired. I gave up on it. Too much pain. But if they changed it, I'd get back in there, buy my cards as NFTs. Maybe when the season's done and the game's retired, those old cards, transfer them over. And instead of releasing these legends that you sell and all that crap, the OG cards could then transform and metadata could evolve them, and you transfer them down the line into new games, right? So there's a lot of things that can be done. And the time is now. Like, these people are sleeping. They need to wake up.
Well, yeah, in a perfect world, right?
But
Yeah.
okay,
Go for it, Seth.
so with all this stuff that we've seen in gaming, and like microtransactions, loot boxes, et cetera, DLCs, skins, right? Is it only considered extractive on us because we don't actually own those assets and then can trade them? Would you consider CS:GO skins and like loot boxes there, is that extractive on gamers, a system they put in place? or would you not consider that extractive because we can trade them? Is that kind of dividing
It's
line
all
there?
extractive. Like the way I look at it, it's all extractive. Even if we changed it to blockchain and added value for the player base, it's still extractive. But you're adding a layer that provides some type of incentive and rewards to the
Additional
player that
utility
wasn't there
and
before,
incentivize it.
right?
Yeah, right.
Exactly. So
Well,
right now there's nothing.
That
It's
doesn't
just
need
extract.
that doesn't
Yeah.
need to be that doesn't need to be the case always, especially with what we're getting now, where almost every game is doing something with UGC where it doesn't become extractive if buying that skin was made by another player who's getting a cut for like their participation in making that skin and you buying it. I mean, it still maybe is extractive in the sense that like, all right, the game
It's
is
slave labor.
taking its cut for like the marketplace facilitator, right, or whatever that fee. But like,
think about it,
you
man.
know,
Like, okay, how much are you really making? Like, how many hours you put in to make that skin for that game, and then how much cut are you actually getting? And then you think about how much would they have had to pay an on-staff, designer or 3D animator to do that skin, test it all out, right, with the same tools. How much would they have to pay? Probably at least 2 or 3 times more than what they're going to pay that creator, the independent creator. So like,
well, no, they're not paying the creator anything in this case. They're just they're getting
right, but
paid.
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I just mean as far, but like they're facilitating the transaction. So if you say, okay, hey, you're going to get 40% of every skin you sell in our store, we're going to take the other 60. Dang.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Like okay, great. Well, like the guy's like, oh my god, I get to make skins for shrapnel. That's freaking amazing. I'm gonna make all the shrap. I'm gonna get all the rewards. People are gonna love my shit. But when you look at it, like that's really what it comes down to is that they're getting somebody to do that work for a fraction, probably of what it would to just have someone on staff do it. And you may still get almost the same quality or close.
But we would hope at least we would hope that the revenue, the trap that they're getting back from this is going back into the game. And some, I mean, sure they probably have to pay, people. I don't, who knows how that side of it works, but like, I'm sure, hopefully in that system that, we're probably talking about a system that is going to exist for real with shrapnel, most likely here once it comes out eventually. And so, like, hopefully, what they take from that is going to get put back into the game, at least in part. But this is a good segue too, because like the next part of the show, we're going to be talking about should speculation on in-game tokens, skins, NFTs, that sort of thing, any on-chain like digital assets that can be traded for like real-world value, should they be speculated on, and should that be a part of the conversation that we're all having? Because like, I mean, most of you guys probably know, and if you guys out there watching have been around for the last like 2.5 years since the market took a dump on us and everyone who was a poser left. Everyone was
they're all back now. Hey, welcome back, guys. Welcome back, all the grifters and the posers.
They all came back.
Unbelievers.
We're back.
Only no.
They all have reasons. No, guys, it's okay. They all have good reasons why they left. Okay.
No.
I think so.
Anyone who just recently came back, at least, you know what I mean? We at least they came back, man. We can't hate on them. It's the people who are going to come in at all-time highs. Like that's the people we hate on. You know what I mean? That's the people.
I guess these are the early birds. The early birds coming back. The early bird. Yeah.
But for the last 2 years, man, I swear to God, it was always like, no one needs a token. No one don't even call them NFTs or anything like that. Like we don't even just build a good game, guys, and have digital assets that like skins that players can trade on a secondary marketplace. But as soon as we get a like 1/100th of a rebound back up to like where things were, people are like, oh yeah, man, tokens are hot. Everyone is top 10, top 5 gaming tokens. Stash has got a top 5 upcoming tokens video coming out here tomorrow, I think, right? And like, I swear, man, there were so many people who were like, that's, we're just gamers, man. We're not here to speculate on that. And like, is that the case? Like, what makes Web3? Like, Doug, let me start with you on this one, man. I mean, do you think normal gamers, like not us, because I don't know how I call us normal gamers for the most part, given that we're here.
Fringe gaming. We're niche gaming. Niche gaming.
But do you think
I think we're hardcore gamers? You got to be hardcore to really go through like all the like hoops that we have to play these games. So we're hardcore gamers.
That is true.
Here. Yeah.
That is true.
I would agree,
But do you think that tokens should be a major part of a game's economy or gameplay loop? Like, I saw an article on Twitter or someone's post that I kind of agreed with, that was talking about Illuvium actually. Even though I think Illuvium is going to be an awesome game, and the PvP that they have coming out, it's like tomorrow, I think, right? Yeah, tomorrow is going to rock. But they were saying like Illuvium, like a majority of the people buying these tokens right now are probably never going to play the game. Like probably a large portion of them. Like, and so do you think gamers even care about any of this? Like, why do we care? Yeah, it's you, man. That's yeah.
It's me. Oh, I'm here.
Yeah.
Look, Doug Hype's in the house. All right, listen up right now, all right? Do you know who really cares about this? Think about all the people that are on Twitch right now streaming Fortnite or whatever, making user-created maps and everything, and they can just fall into shrapnel and start making shrapnel coin or whatever, right? And feel like taken care of, like maybe, you know, I'm getting all this shrap in my bank account or something, right? Just an easy moseying into Web3 right now, you know what I'm saying? So, like, I don't really like promote like, hey, put all of your everything into like a coin or whatever, right? But if you're gonna do anything, like you might as well have some cool utility that also you might have people coming in from like Web2 and other places. Like we were just hanging out with American Dad the other day, and he's all interested. Like, what's Web3 all about, man? And I think the reason he's interested because he sees these games that feel just like the games he plays, and now he's kind of intrigued. You know, like, okay, should I do this on my stream? Will it be cool? Will I be able to make more income from it? What's going on here? Like, he's smart enough to kind of like think about like in those like basic terms of it might be really cool for him. And that's the whole reason I even talked to him about it, because I was like, ooh, people are starting to pick up on this and start get really intrigued by it because the games are looking pretty nice. And if they can combine that with like, you know, having a system where they can get paid out Shrap for whatever their branding is, that could be pretty cool, And that's just my vision of what I see probably might likely happening. And so I think that really actually might help bring in Web2 people into the ecosystem, even though they might not be speculative people at first, but it's just a little bit of an added edge to that.
I mean, that's one way to look at it, but you could also look at it the other way in the sense of like, all right, well, why even introduce something that can be like openly traded by people who don't have an active interest in like, or don't have the best interest of the game in mind? Because like, this will be the case with every single gaming token, especially once like a real bull run happens, where it's like, all right, you know, anyone and everyone can just like, people are going to be talking on Twitter about here's the next 100x gaming coin and why you should invest in it. And like 100 people are probably going to buy that and never even touch the game. Like, do you think that's actually good for the game? Or Stash, let me ask you, do you think that's actually like a good mechanism to create for your game, or like, you know, what could be the downside of that?
Yeah, I mean, the conversation definitely has been, you know, should we focus just on gameplay, or should the conversation be about the real money transactions or the tokenomics, or, you know, any of those other like financial elements? Is it bad to have that in a game? I mean, every game has it. Even if they're not a Web3 game, they all have it. Now, whether it's you know, legal to do it in the game, you're supposed to do it and it's okay, or not, which we see a lot, it's still going to happen. How many people out there do you think who own a CSGO skin or a CS skin, right, has never played Counter-Strike? Do you think that literally it's 0%? Do you think 0% of people who own a Counter-Strike skin have played Counter-Strike? I think that there are definitely people out there that probably speculated and bought Counter-Strike skins without ever intending to play, and bought and sold those skins just doing that. Or maybe they've had only limited play. So
Counter-Strike skins aren't listed on Coinbase.
It doesn't matter. Coinbase or D-Market, what's the difference? Coinbase or D-Market, what is the difference? There's no difference there. That's what I'm trying to say. So when you talk about these elements inside of these games, it's already there. We already see people like okay, they're you know, we've talked about this many times, man. WoW has had gold farmers for like 20 years. People farming gold in WoW. Are they, you know, is that contributing to the game? How, like, okay, maybe they're actually playing the game, sure, but how is that really contributing when all they're doing is extracting? Like, yeah, it's part of the game. It's just part of the game that's not sanctioned, right? So what I would say is, would you rather have it happening unsanctioned and uncontrollable, and just and let everyone have cake, or do you try and control the flow of cake and say, look, you cake eating bastards, we know you love cake, we know you love cake. We're gonna regulate that cake distribution just a little bit more, so we're watching how the cake is being distributed. So we don't have a bunch of Dougies running around not getting their cake and complaining that they got scammed outside of the game.
I agree. I'm not worried about it, bro. I'm eating
so
cake.
It's already happening. So when we talk about should it be in there, yes, it should. And that's why I've stuck by that line this entire time this conversation was going on. People talking about this in Web3. I said, no, I don't agree. 100%, you should be talking about every aspect of the game. If the game has NFTs, talk about it. If the game has skins, talk about it. If the game has an in-game currency, talk about it. If it has a premium currency, you should talk about it. If you're reviewing a game and trying to give people information about it, then that's what you should be doing. If you just want to play the game and not tell them jack shit and let them go discover on their own, that's fine too.
Dude,
I have no problem with either. But don't say it should just be one or the other.
Tag me in, Stash. Tag me in. I'm taking in. Let's go.
That was Doug's hand. You didn't see that?
We just talked about FIFA. Let's talk about the king of them all, Madden. All right. You know, Madden has a little app where you can get in there. I used to be ranked in Madden, bro. Bring it. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's shoutcast. There is a little app.
How many controllers did you put through the wall?
Let's go, baby. 0. I would just rock them, baby. I've never lost a Madden game. What are you talking about? So I got the little app. I got this app, right? And people sit there and they literally flip Madden cards all day to get in-game currency in the game to like boost up their team, and they barely even play. They just sit there flipping all day just like it's NFTs. You know what I'm saying? And that exists already. It's a little bit different, but it's part of the ecosystem. You know what I mean? So like some people only do that because they like doing that, and it's part of the ecosystem, and it's kind of cool. It's kind of fun, and that's part of the reason that Madden is so popular. If you didn't have all those elements, it wouldn't be as popular. Boom. End of story. Boom. 3 count. 1, 2, 3. You're out.
Yeah, I can see that.
Well, we got no ACLs. Are you raising your hand? What's going on?
I just did an elbow from the top.
We were tagging each other in.
He's raising the roof. I don't know.
Yeah, tagging.
All right, you're in. Knuckles,
oh
go.
my gosh. Yeah, man, like that's what I was saying about FIFA earlier, right? Like, but just gaming in general, from its core, from the beginning, every aspect of gaming has always been about speculation. From the story, from trying to grind the rarest items, from trying to accumulate whatever resources you think are going to have benefits for different metas. We can go on and on and on about every aspect down the list of gaming. It's all about speculation. So, you know, the real thing that was happening was because there's so much negative sentiment with crypto, NFTs, Web3, blockchain, you know, throw all the terms out there that make everybody feel sick, right? But the whole point was not to shy away from that, but focus on building quality games that are going to be, you know, attractive for real gamers that want to get involved with these games. And then, you know, the other side of it, it was more of like a marketing strategy. Make it more of a comfortable welcome for, you know, outsiders, right? Because we're in our bubble, we're not getting more users, we're not bringing in, you know, anybody outside of the people that want to be here, right? So that was kind of that tactic, but you know, eventually they're going to see the value whether they like it or not. It's just a matter of time, and there's room for everybody no matter how you play. And like that's the whole point of Web3, right? They're building out these ecosystems with different ways to participate in them across various games and platforms and mediums, whether it be comics or entertainment, animation, you name it, and their token is going to be tied to that, right? So do your research, look at the projects you like, and you know, get involved if you want to, right? It's just like FIFA points or V-Bucks, but there's a lot more utility. Yeah.
And we talked about them kind of, you know, we're talking about these Web 2 games and how they kind of do some of these things, excuse me, and then how Web 3 does it, right? And we're like, oh, it's a little bit different. It's a little bit, and that's okay, I think, you know, how we kind of do it a little bit different in Web 3 versus in Web 2. Those things will merge, but what Web 3 brings, right, is a level of transparency and legitimacy, right? Because once again, I talked about these things happening outside of the game because people want them to happen. They do, and that brings a lot of illegitimacy to, you know, that market, right? So blockchain can bring that to these games and also bring more transparency and understand and see what's going on behind the scenes with data that should be public and transparent and easy to find. But games don't really make that a priority. It's not part of how they go about developing things. So I think there is a lot to that. And I think the NFTs and blockchain brings a lot to that speculation side that makes it actually better and more efficient and less black market kind of scammy feeling, in my opinion.
Well, see, we're funny in crypto, man, because like I mean, probably now the newer people coming in don't care so much about this. Just, I mean, as an age thing too, I feel like younger people probably don't care too much about this. But like, get ready to KYC every in the future. Every game you're gonna have to put your social security number into because
but that's what
they're
I'm
gonna
saying.
have a token.
But no, but you're not going to have to do that, and that's what I mean. Once again, blockchain steps in and provides a solution, right? We already know that your identity in gaming is becoming a bigger and bigger thing, and now with AI, it is going to be one of the largest challenges to the gaming industry is going to face. It's going to explode over the next year, and we're going to see this being one of the largest challenges that we're going to face is the authentic people being authenticated as real humans playing the game themselves. And once again, we see technology like Immutable, ZK EVM with Polygon that they're working on, and a couple other zero knowledge proof crypto solutions that are kind of gearing a little bit more towards gaming. Those are going to help with that, right? Imagine having a gaming ID that you can use across Ubisoft, across Epic Games, across Steam, across literally across everything. Right, and it can verify all that data without releasing that data to the games. Therefore, having another point of like, oh yeah, do you want to have your social security, your freaking address, your telephone number, your email, your mother's maiden name, and have that across 50 different games? Because you're right, every one of them will want you to KYC. It's just not going to be possible, and that's too much sensitive data out there. So once again, the future and the solution is going to be blockchain technology.
Well, yeah, and so soon come maybe IMX Passport and Ubisoft trial running it with Champion Tactics. Who knows? We just talked about the announcement.
100% it's coming,
who knows?
Man. Yeah, it's coming for sure.
Yeah.
It just comes
Yeah,
down to like what solution is going to win out, and that's what we see in all these emerging markets in technology like this. What standard is going to win out, and we keep seeing that. Well, okay, ERC20 won out. Then one out after that, ERC 721. You see standards start to win out, and everyone adopts it. Well, what happens when that's the thing everyone adopts? Every game studio wants to do this, right? Because how many different game development engines are used today? Does anybody know? It's like
3,
less than
right?
5.
Like 4.
It's less than 5 fucking different
Yeah.
softwares.
Unreal Engine.
Unity, Unreal Engine, and then what's the third really bigger one? There's like the
Probably
third behind
like
Unity
Roblox, I would say probably the in-game creators like a Roblox and probably UEFN now. I mean UEFN is kind of like Unreal, but just specific version of Unreal. But you know what I'm saying? Like these become industry standards, and when we have this digital identity, ZK powered digital identity as part of a standard that everyone uses because it's the most popular plugin for Unity and for UE5. It's plug and play. It's plug and play identity. Just like we see with anti-cheat. Fucking why does every game use the same anti-cheat? Right? Like why aren't there 10 different anti-cheats? Why aren't there 10 or 20 solutions that people are using? Why aren't there 20? There's a reason why. That's the same reason why we're going to have 1 or 2 maybe identity solutions, and instead of having 50 accounts, you only need 2 or 3.
That's the dream.
Or hopefully just one, really. I want
to be able to link
one. Just freaking one, man. Really, that is the dream.
I wish I could
something like
do this
old
cake right
time.
now.
like an immutable passport.
Oh, is
like,
Doug
if you have
actually eating
multiple
a cake right
accounts,
now?
you
Yeah,
can, like,
definitely.
link them all.
Here, this is for Stash. Here's some cake, baby. That was an amazing
Get
answer.
some cake in your stash.
Get that
No, but
blood
like
sugar up.
with all of the, I mean, you bring up a great point, but like, and I agree. And with all the value that blockchain technology could bring to gaming, like Apollo, let me get your take on this. Like, why do you think with all of the utility that could come of like making blockchain a part of gaming and the tech that it could provide, like what are the biggest misconceptions? Like, why don't, like, we've been talking about this for 2 years now. Why is there still so much pushback from traditional gamers, do you think?
The genesis of this, the way it started,
Just
it was terrible.
misinformed,
Like,
man.
yeah, I mean, it's super unfortunate the way it started. We had a lot of bad actors, had a lot of bad companies, had a lot of rugs be pulled from people. And at that point, it's put us in a bad predicament where we're climbing our way back out. And it takes stuff like what we talked about, IMX working with Ubisoft, right? These are 2 giants in both sides working together, showing, educating the people, putting people on let them know what's going on. And sorry, I lost my train of thought there real quick.
I could throw 2
You're
cents
good.
on you, Apollo.
Yeah.
Get in there.
That's my fault. I distracted Apollo. My apologies.
Yeah, he keep
I know he's
saying
over here
man,
chowing
it's
down on the
cake,
damn
dude.
cake. We're all
Hungry.
hungry and shit.
Yeah, I'm
Doug,
hungry too now, man.
But yeah,
What
but
kind
in
of
the
cake
first
is
one-
that?
You didn't think I had real cake because I made a cake sign.
I
Is it
really didn't
hilarious?
Is it
actually.
your favorite? Is it strawberry shortcake?
It is actually strawberry shortcake. You are correct, sir.
It
You
is?
win strawberry
Wow.
shortcake.
It looks good, man. It looks
It's
good.
so good. Like when Stash is going off and just on fire, I can't help but eat cake. You know
Look,
what
if we
I'm
just
saying?
gave, if we
Ooh,
just
Kobe's
gave
calling
every
out
person,
diabetes.
if we just gave every person who doesn't like NFTs in gaming or blockchain technology a piece of cake
Yeah.
and said,
Yeah,
"Hey,
that
here
would
you
be
go,
good
guys. Look,
incentive.
here's one piece of cake from us, the Web3 community, to you.
Yes.
No strings attached. Just
Yes.
please enjoy my cake, sir." And
Yeah.
then maybe they would all come around and be like, "Bro, these Web3 guys are actually really nice. They freaking gave
God,
me
Stash,
cake."
you figured out my entire utility.
Doug is
Genius.
on point.
Dude,
Doug is on point. He's got it, man.
Doug, I hope you're a Portal fan, man. I wonder, were you sharing that cake with Gladys or what?
Oh my
I
God.
don't share any of
Yeah.
my cake.
Only real gamers know that reference. Only real gamers know that reference.
You know what's crazy is we just did a video and I had that as a question and didn't get that right, the Python. Ended up having to drink
Oh,
something
no.
crazy. Yeah. We're having this.
A cake NFT from Wax P, or high
GG.
chance. Kobe says high chance of diabetes up in here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Alright.
for sure.
I mean, maybe type 1 if any of you guys out there are like, insulin lacking individuals. But type 2, man, I don't think any of us has got the look. We all look like healthy young men. So I don't know what you're talking about,
Yeah, I'm
Kobe,
like
man.
21 years old, bro.
Gosh.
Don't worry about it.
Well, the cake is doing you all sorts of favors, Doug. You don't look a day over 35, my friend.
I don't see any rankles up here.
It's the cake and Botox. No, but I mean,
Botox.
Apollo, man, I think you're right. As someone who saw all the like scummy, terrible rugs and like,
It's because they made headlines. It's the
Apollo-
only thing that made headlines. That's why.
Exactly.
It's the only thing that made
Yeah.
headlines.
Every time
what I
something
was
bad
commenting on.
happens, Binance, whatever it is, it always makes headlines. Whenever it's something good, like great games that come out,
Crickets.
if they do make
Crickets.
headlines, they get backlash, but the
So-
majority of it doesn't. So
Yep.
Yeah. I'll tell
Yeah,
you guys
and
what'll
I don't
change
think-
the sentiment. Like, honestly, what we need is more media attention on the positive things that are taking place across crypto and gaming and blockchain and all this amazing tech. The more media coverage we get that is good and positive, and people get out there and put it out there that way, the better, and it'll start to change. Because I'll tell you for a fact, people don't have time to do their research on exchanges and coins and different blockchain infrastructures and projects and going down the whole list. They want to come home, they want to throw on the news, they don't want to think, they want to know what's happening and get an idea on what they should be doing and learning, and then take that information and run with it, right? Not many people are out here thinking critically and breaking every single thing down. So the more
What a
positive
shame.
attention we get, that's when it'll start to change.
No, I completely agree with you, Noise Seals, and like, I think we're still gonna see again this time around a few like pretty unfortunate. There's gonna be another like FTX. There's gonna be another Celsius. There's gonna be another. I mean, I don't
I
not
hope
the
not.
Axie Infinity.
Oh.
I think probably will come back in some
Ooh.
way, but there's gonna be another like. All right, Pegixie. That's the one. All right, there's gonna be another Pegixie. And so like, it's just a matter of, like you said, the more like there's enough now, I think, good happening to contrast the bad, that like people can start to like say, all right, there's actual value here. They're actually like innovating and making a better player experience.
Yeah.
And these games are actually fun. And with that being said, I actually want to move on to our last round here, the lightning round for this episode of Around the Metaverse, talking about your guys' favorite games. And for this episode of Around the Metaverse, the lightning round today is going to be, what is your favorite genre of game to play and why? So we're going to go in order of Doug, King Apollo, no ACLs, and then finally Stash. Doug, you're up first, man. What is your favorite genre of game to play and why?
Look, you know, it's funny because I really love action games. I mean, sports games like Madden. In fact, I love Bannerlord too. Here's a one out of left field where I can like conquer castles and just smash people with axes. Someone make a Web 2.3 game like that. I think somebody actually is. I want to be going around just smashing people, crushing them, conquering things. I love adventure and action. I love all the games, but I want to be part of something like maybe an MMO where I can just feel like I'm doing something and I'm conquering some kind of mission and crushing skulls along the way. You know, I want that next level of World of Warcraft. Bring it to me, baby. I'm ready for it.
See, I would love to get into an MMO like that. I have fond memories of like the first WoW guild I was ever in. But man, like, let's be honest with ourselves, guys. We're adults. Like, we don't have the time
It's
it
hard.
takes.
MMOs are hard, man. It's a lot of times.
Yeah,
hard.
we don't have the time, man. We don't have the time anymore. No, but all right, Apollo, man, you're up next. What is your favorite genre of game to play and why?
Gotta say sports, man. You know, got the UFC on my head. Like I've been playing sports games since the beginning of time, and I think it's mainly because like ever since I can remember, and I was literally sitting here trying to think before I came on. Like I do not remember playing a sports game by myself. It's always been something like I play with my brothers, I play with my friends, people I know around the world, right? And it's always been like a community and competitive thing. I always played sports growing up. So it's something I always just really gravitated to. So Madden's got my money for the last like God knows how many years. I don't even want to think about how many times I bought Madden or 2K or FIFA along with my boy, no ACLs. Like I felt your pain on that one, bro. I'm not gonna lie. EA's done it to me too, bro. I feel your pain. They done it to me too,
My
bro.
back pocket's so
And I
light.
feel like blockchain fix this if they can get it right. And hopefully So Rare or something, you know, they got a lot of licenses over there. Maybe they make a game for you and you can switch over to that. And
Well,
actually be able to
I've been
trade.
playing So Rare since 2021, so if they do, I'm ready. Like
Yeah, I'm
the
about to say, I'm
FIFA
on
side, I've been on that. So
Yeah, I'm on NBA. FIFA's too
Fingers
much.
crossed.
That side is expensive.
So rare reps in chat. Hit up no ACLs after the show, man. You gotta leverage that guy, man.
Get my boy
no,
a
but-
game.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Apollo, man, I agree with you, dude. Like, I'm trying to think now too, and I'm not like a huge sports like gamer per se, but anytime I've ever was playing like Nihil or FIFA or anything like that, like it was always with my friends in college or like it's like you got like a party going on or something, and there's like a game of FIFA going on at one corner. And like that's always been one of my like the thing I actually do enjoy about sports games, even though on the side I hate them because it's like the same game every year.
Every
For the
year.
same reason that you hate them, I'm sure. But no ACLs, man.
Like
Let me
Jordan.
ask you. You're up next.
Yeah,
What is your favorite genre of game to play and why?
I'll give you a quick story time. I've got two faves here. So I've got FIFA, all-time fave. You know, I used to compete. I played soccer. Like, that's just my passion. So I've always done that. And like, the same thing, just like you said, being able to play with your friends. Like, I'll tell you, in the summertime, I went to a blockchain conference here in my city, and I met up with the folks from Parallel. They hosted an after party at an esports cafe downtown, and everyone was playing Parallel, right? We were playing the card game. But there was one guy there that I started chatting with. He's part of the marketing team. And he was like, man, I'm good at FIFA. Like, let's rip it, da da da. I told him I used to play FIFA. And we took one of the big monitors. We had everybody there sitting around us. And we got into a 5-game series of FIFA. Both of us who had not played in a long time, right? But we just wanted to vibe, right? So the whole place was erupting. It became 2-2. And I ended up losing in the 90th minute. You know that glitch, right? By 1. But it was great. And like that's the thing I've always loved about FIFA and sports games in general. And then aside from that, I've always loved sci-fi shooters. Halo and Destiny are my all-time favorites. I'm looking at Shrapnel, I'm looking at Metalcore. Any good FPS with a nice science space storyline, I'm all there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. I saw this like a reel on Instagram or something like that was like, it's been 12 years since the last good Halo game came out, and I shed a little tear, man. I shed a little tear. Halo 3 and Oblivion were the
Vince
very
McMahon
first
meme. Like,
yeah. Nah,
I miss
fam.
Halo.
No,
Good times.
but Stash. Last but certainly not least, what is your favorite genre of game to play and why?
So my favorite definitely has always been RPGs. I've been a huge RPG fan my entire life. I love games in general. Like there's not a genre of game where I'm like, I wouldn't play that, except for maybe some of the smaller clicky type of games. But RPG is definitely one of my tops. But I will say, man, over the last decade or so, shooters have definitely grabbed a little bit more part of my heart, right, in gaming. And I feel like I find myself playing more shooters just because you can engage with them quicker, right? At RPG, man, you're committing. Like I'm playing through Baldur's Gate right now, and I mean it's 80 to 120 hours. That's a long commitment for a game. You know what I'm saying? So, shooters tend to be a quicker game. You can go in, play 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes, 30-minute matches, things like that, which I really enjoy. And they're on also still multiplayer, which is great. So it's a contrast of two, right? One's like all about the heart-pounding kind of action, which I love, and the other one is more about thinking and exploring and storylines, and those are two things I really love to have. So that's my favorites. That's my faves.
Yeah, man, that's such a good point. And like, if I think back about all the games that I played growing up, like RPGs played a huge role. FPS games played a huge role, and then like. I mean, actually, that's probably it for the most part. Like sci-fi shooters, I would say too, is that falls under FPS.
Yeah, shooters.
But yeah,
I
like
said shooters in
Halo
general.
3. Well, so Halo 3, and Oblivion were the two games that I bought with my Xbox 360 when I was like, I graduated from a GameCube to like the first console I ever had, a Luigi's Mansion, and first game on GameCube, and finally graduated to like a big boy console. It was like, all right, I'm getting Halo 3, I'm getting Elder Scrolls Oblivion. We're going to lock ourselves in our room for, 48 hours, and you'll see me after I have full recon armor in Halo 3 or something like that.
Blaming recon.
But no.
Dom was making big plays. Found it.
Yeah. The recon and the Hayabusa armor, I think, is what it was called. It was like you had to get all the skulls on expert mode or something like that in campaign.
Legendary with a whole squad without dying. That was like the craziest.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Bro, we spent so many hours. Oh my god, dude. I miss not having the real responsibilities.
Disposable
and
time.
being able to. Yeah.
Disposable time.
Yeah, I miss it.
We only had it.
But hey, at least we get to spend a little bit of time playing games and talking about them like here on this show today.
Yeah, hey,
yeah.
We're not complaining too much.
Campaign co-op. Let's go.
At least a little bit. But yeah, we're running out of time tonight, guys. Thank you all for joining us tonight. Doug, man, appreciate you coming out for your first time on Around the Metaverse. I hope we hyped it up enough for you. Guys watching out there, thank you for sticking with us. Thank you for coming out on this Monday. We're going to be back again next week for another episode of Around the Metaverse, Mondays at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. But that is all we have tonight, folks. Oh, wait, actually, before we go, don't forget to check the description and follow and like these guys' channels as well. Spread the love to them. I totally forgot to say that last time and probably the last couple times. So apologies to previous guests the last few times. But spread some love to the fam out in the description. But that is all we have tonight, folks. We out.
Peace.
over. Go home.